Hey everyone, welcome to session 3 of Scrubbedout virtual grand rounds. And today we are going to talk about a very, very important topic: how to secure those reference letters, but not just a reference letter, those stellar reference letters. So welcome and thanks again for joining me. Thanks for everyone who's coming on today. So my name is Dr. Adrian Huang, Scrubbedout. I'm an orthopedic surgeon, I'm an educator, and I'm a coach. And today, like I said, we're going to talk about reference letters. So reference letters, as you guys all know, they are an absolutely crucial part of the application process. However, just randomly asking your preceptors one day for a reference letter can lead to disastrous results. I personally know several people who have been tanked and had their application tanked because of bad reference letters written on their behalf. And it's because most people don't know how to get them, don't know how to ask for them in the appropriate way to ensure that you're going to get a positively written reference letter. So listen up, and here I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. What makes a good reference letter? Well, first, a good reference letters are made up of several really important facts. So number one, they obviously have to be good. They have to be beneficial to you. They have to show you in a good light. But not just that, they have to be very specific and concrete. They can't just say something like, oh, Adrian is the best resident I've ever seen. That doesn't really hold much water. You have to give specific examples as to why that's happening. A second really important fact is that preferably it comes from somebody who has a little bit of clout. So for example, someone who is a program director or has some say in the application or selection process. So a selection committee member, somebody who is maybe friends with the program director who they trust, and a preceptor who has known you for a long time, either personally or professionally, is also a very important thing to have. Finally, we kind of touched on it earlier though, the other thing that really has to say is it outright has to say that you are an excellent or a top candidate. This session is going to teach you how you can do that. Oh, hey, Carla. How do you set yourself up for success with respect to having a reference letter? Well, like I said, when you start off, you have to make sure that you set up your elective or your experience with your preceptor so that they can actually know to look for these examples of how you're an excellent achiever. Number one is make sure that you organize your elective of long enough of a length that they can get to know you. So in our institution, they can range anywhere from about 2 weeks to 8 weeks. So, depending on where you're going and depending on how many different places you want to go to, I suggest somewhere in that 4-week range. And everyone's going to be a little bit different. When you start, I always tell people you have to make sure that the preceptor knows that you're going to do or knows that you want to have a reference letter. So a really important way is just to open the subject right from the beginning. Be very open about it and say, hey, listen, I'm interested in your specialty. I really want to get in. I really want to get into your institution. If that's true, I would love to have a reference for you at the end of this if you think that's appropriate. And then that leads me to my third point on how to set yourself up for success before you even start is if you're not getting one already, absolutely request an onboarding or an entrance interview. Here you can set out your objectives. Again, you can bring up that topic of wanting to do that specialty, wanting a reference letter, and even learn a little bit about what your preceptor values and what you can do to earn yourself that top letter. So the second thing is once you get those things, once you have had that entrance interview and once you're into your elective, make sure that you set yourself up so that the one person can follow your progress along. It's no use if you're spending one day with one preceptor, one day with another, and it's a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle. You're not going to be able to make any relationship, and nobody's going to be able to actually know you long enough to vouch for you. So again, ensuring not only that you're having enough time with that person, but making sure that person has a little bit of clout and a little bit of say, such as a program director or somebody on the selection committee is really important. While you're there, remember you have to not just work hard, but you have to work smart. During your entrance interview that you have so strategically asked for at the beginning of your elective, they're going to have told you what they value and what they look for in a good applicant, in a good resident, and someone who fits their program. So make sure you emulate these, right? You've already learned from them what they want, so make sure you give it to them. Make sure you give it to them over and over and over so that they can actually see that you're growing and you're learning and that you're a good fit, not just for their program, but for their culture of their institution, and also as a colleague moving forward. The worst thing that you can do is have gone over all of these objectives and then not actually do them, because that shows the exact opposite of what they're looking for, which is you're not really listening. You're just going to go off. You cannot take guidance. Remember, when you are a resident or when you're a medical student trying to get into a residency program, what we're trying to do as part of the selection committee is, yes, choose people who are going to work hard and who are going to be excellent doctors. But again, we're also choosing our future colleagues. These are the people that we have to work with for the rest of our careers and the rest of your careers. So again, we want to make sure that you're going to be a good fit and you're going to be a nice person and not essentially be someone super pathologic who we have to deal with and send and receive consults to, for the rest of our working careers. The second thing you have to do when you're in there is also just keep track of your work. Remember, one of the most important aspects of a reference letter is that they come with specific examples. When they come with specific examples of how you're achieving well, how you're a top performer, this holds so much more weight when it's being read by the committee. So if your preceptor may not always remember that. So that's going to be up to you to kind of keep track of these things. So at the end, you can give this nice little package all kind of wrapped up to your preceptor, again, so they can put that reference letter in very, very quick fashion and quick turnaround. And then the last thing you have to do, once you've done all these things, make sure you ask for the letter at the end of the day. Remember, even though you had your entrance interview, your preceptor may not always remember that. However, there is a very specific way to ask for your letter, and this is probably the most important part of all of this. So the way you ask for the letter is to make sure that you ask them if they are comfortable, based on your performance, of writing you a strong and supportive letter that will help your application. Again, I've seen over and over my personal colleagues who have been given bad reference letters, and this absolutely harms their application. When you ask it in this specific manner, it gives them a chance. It gives your preceptor a chance to say no, and maybe it's a cue for you to ask somebody else instead. So that is a very, very important thing. So the 4 steps on asking for a reference letter are setting yourself up for success, working hard and working smart, keeping track of your work, and then asking for that letter again in that very, very specific way. So don't forget also, when you're going through this, don't forget to ask for a good reference from the residents. Again, word of mouth really spreads, and if the residents who are currently there really like you and think you're going to be a great fit, well, they're going to tell their attendings as well. Don't forget to follow up, because sometimes, things get busy and your preceptor might have a pile of paperwork to do. So this may fall to the bottom. So it's okay to follow up with your preceptor or their administrative team. Again, my name is Dr. Adrian Huang. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I'm an educator. I'm a coach, and I'm here to help you guys achieve success and balance and fulfillment in your careers. Thanks again, guys, for joining me. Again, every Monday we're here for a session of Grand Rounds at 5 p.m. Pacific, live on Instagram. If you want to catch this, just watch the replay. I'll have it posted and linked. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you soon. Have a great week.